imagine he's 55 years old and these are things that happened so long ago that were never just in the first place. I think it's time for Jamaicans to really start to have a conversation about privilege.
In your own words, Ms. Trainor, if your common law husband was to have his records expunged, what would that mean to you?
Well, to me, I want my partner should have equal access to the world, to travel, to get the operation in Canada. He definitely needs that operation. It's a hip replacement. And that costs over $2 million to get it done in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. We've already gone and had all that assessed. Mm-hmm. But, also I want him to meet my family. We want to be able to travel to different places. And I think that's, you want your partner to have the same rights as you have. But really for me, I'm from a legal background. My father was a Supreme Court judge in Canada. So the injustice that I see in Jamaica, the way that he never had any lawyer helping him, no duty counsel, and I know you have the same system in Jamaica, which is my new country now too, as Canada, as far as we all follow the British system of law. So, it's not right that he went to jail for that, and that the reputation in the community is, oh, he's a bad guy, We've known each other for over 30 years, and he was always a real go-getter, a calm, happy person who just likes to make people happy. And certainly with the visitors, the tourism, that's what people who come to Jamaica, what they really want is get to know the real Jamaican people. It's not about staying in a hotel, being all away from the Jamaicans. No, you're missing the point. People actually really want to know your culture. Everybody really wants to be Jamaican secretly, So, but getting back to the seriousness of this, it's just, imagine he's 55 years old and these are things that happened so long ago that were never just in the first place. These things happen in Canada too, so it's not just Jamaica. But I think it's time for Jamaicans to really start to have a conversation about privilege, light skin privilege, my privilege. I'm using my privilege to be able to speak out, The police treat me differently than they treat him. And it's the same thing in Canada. My sons get pulled over and stopped by the police all the time, whereas me, they just leave me alone,
What are the charges that David is seeking to have expunged and when were they committed?
Oh, these go back to the late 1980s, wow. 1990s. And they were really unjust in the first place. Mm-hmm. He should have never been charged, and he certainly should have never gone to jail. One was for receiving stolen goods, and another one for housebreaking, and one for having possession of ganja.
When did you apply to the ministry to get his record expunged, and what has happened since?
We applied a year ago, last May, and that was only after spending a year trying to get the police certificate for him to be able to I applied for him to come to Canada, but we couldn't get that certificate because of the charges. I want him to be able to live in Canada. He needs an operation it's very, very expensive here. Plus, he's my partner and he has the right to become a Canadian, and that way we can also travel more. He can't leave Jamaica now easily.
How has this delay really affected you?
Well, it's just devastating because we were applying for all this before COVID hit, and now the Canadian government sent back all the papers because we never had that police certificate. And so they gave us a letter, the police gave us a letter, but that was not accepted. And we just felt there was really nobody on it helping us at all through the whole process. It's been really, really so back and forth to Kingston, St. Mary, with nobody doing the right thing to help us.
You just pointed out that all the documents were sent back from Canada. Is it that you have to start the process all over again?
We have to start all over, and because of COVID, everything is delayed.
When did you first apply for his police record?
October of 2019.
Okay, and what was the problem you faced in getting the police certificate? Why were you...
Well, at first, we went to St. Mary. At first, they told us, the Area 2 police station there, at first they said there's something wrong with they can't print the reports in Kingston. There was something wrong with the office was closed or something. But then they said, oh, there's something on the record, which we said, we know there's something on the record, and we still need a certificate. because the Canadian officials said they'll work with us on that. But they never gave us the certificate.
Then they introduce us to the expungement.
Okay.
And then say it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're supposed to get the record, and then they call us and tell us about what is on it. And then nothing happened after.
So at any time were you informed why you were given a letter instead of a certificate?
No,
Never.
no.
How you feel about the handling of the process by the authority? How do you think they handle it? I mean, is there any concern for you? Are you disappointed in any way?
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed about the people that work in the office, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because most likely when me visit the office, me mostly see them in a air condition, tap on them phone, not to the business on the phone, but the phone where they're supposed to answer, which is the business phone or the work phone, that just a ring straight. And I like them gone for lunch now, and the phone ring, nobody no answer. So most likely when they get no answer most of the time, and they're there because they're working period, you know. So I wonder what they are doing at the office, getting paid and nothing is done. You know what I mean?
They just kept sending us from St. Mary
One
to
place to
Kingston,
another.
back and forth, then to Port Antonio to get the documents from the court. We got everything, and they still didn't give us the right paper.
If you could make an appeal to the Justice Minister regarding your partner's expungement, what would you say?
I would say that, you know, these charges that were never just in the first place, which I have written a letter to him explaining all of that, which I've explained to each person all along, even the Canadian officials, that, you know, somebody left a suitcase at his place during Hurricane Gilbert, back in Hurricane Gilbert time. I don't know if you
That's
remember.
1988.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that person never took responsibility for that. He found the suitcase near the Trident Hotel. And because of that, this man went to jail for 8 months. That's not justice, you know? And now, all these years later, it's still haunting him. And I'll tell you something else. The community in Port Antonio thinks of him as a criminal because of those things that were never real charges in the first place. And so I'm asking the Justice Minister, and we're coming public about this, which is not an easy thing to do. It's an embarrassing thing, but the thing is that there's nothing to be embarrassed about because he never committed any crimes in the first place. The ganja was planted on him by a police officer in line at a club in Port Antonio one night, and the officer said, "I'm going to charge you for this." And he gave it to him, you know, put it in his pocket, right? So, like, you know, these things happen all over the world, especially to dark-skinned black men. We know that. I've raised my children in Canada and had to fight police discrimination and seen my own children, my own sons racially profiled. My kids are black, you know. So I am saying that it's time really for Jamaica to really take a look at how you treat poor black people. And the injustices, we know that there's a lot of other people out there, when they see us talking, maybe they're going to have hope to try to get an expungement themselves. For, you know, they've probably given up. A lot of people, we almost gave up. It was so devastating the way he had to keep taking time off. He's successful. Not only do you do fishing and farming, but he can fix anything. He's redone this whole house. He's contracting, and, you know, like, people's lives get all messed up here because of stuff like this.
Why should the authority grant you a king record now? What do you think they should?
Yeah, they should, because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just a calm and cool local youth, do acrobatic, entertain tourists. That's what I do, you know what I mean? And make people happy and laugh, you know. Everybody go through things in their life, you know, good and bad, you know, but we're not the worst, you know. And we're still smart. We can do things, and we can make things happen good way. As a Jamaican youth, I speak up straight. Yeah, we're kind of bright, but you know, we did it.
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes, sir.
how do you feel now about the persons who you say have caused you to be arrested and charged? How do you feel about them? What do you feel at this time?
Well, about them, you know, The youth were kind of knock things like on war boat for a long period. Today we talk, today we fight, tomorrow I remember nothing. Tell you good morning and it's like, yo, yesterday gone, that's it. So I still come back, talk to my friend them, but me got jail, see me like nothing never happened. Till then do something again and I say, okay, we're not fight. I go just walk.
So-
And stay for them way and stay mind. You know?
So in short, have you forgiven them?
Oh yes, I do. Personally, I do forgive them, you know what I mean? Yeah.
How will this expungement improve your life?
Well, for instance, me have through the acrobatic thing for over the years as I used to entertain tourists, me have a bad hip. So I constantly pain every time I walk, you know, because sometimes I get up and I remember about it and just hold my stick sometime and walk with, you know. So in other words, if I get a little chance to go in the Canadian section there and look for some doctor and then can give me a deal. Yeah, if I can walk good again, which them have them kind of doctor, they have to be personally good for that, professional, you know. So that's what good for me, you know. That make me feel happy, you know. Get back my nice operation and I can walk good again and do some more stuff, you know, like keep myself active in the farm and them thing, you know. Yeah, man. I love that.